We have official documents saying that the Federal Reserve has verified the use of XRP globally using the ISA 4217 standard, and that the use of XRP by the United States of America is set to commence on December 31st, 2023. This date was derived from the fact that the Federal Reserve has confirmed the use of XRP globally using the ISA 4217 standard. This paperwork, which is one of the most important documents that you can look at and which was sent to me by an independent researcher, is one of the documents that you can view. Behind the scenes, all of this activity is taking place at the same time as the United States of America has decided to use Ripple for CBDCs. The Securities and Exchange Commission and the United States Congress are working to settle the SCR velocity by coercion, and we are beginning to see the Bank of Japan giant begin to adopt XRP for international payment services. When we add that to the fact that the value of XRP must be at least $10,000, we are on the verge of witnessing a revolution in the distribution of wealth around the world. But this is only the beginning of what we are going to talk about today, because we have some news that is literally just breaking, and the paperwork and reports are going to be standing right in front of you at this very moment. Having said that, before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The Federal Reserve is going to be compelled in a literal sense to start utilizing XRP. With that out of the way, let's go right into it. Recently, an independent researcher possesses some extremely important information that, after conducting a great deal of research, discussed it for a few hours in order for it to make complete sense. The United States Federal Reserve intended to begin accepting payments in XRP on a global scale. XRP has been brought up here. However, the most crucial thing to note is that the ISO code XRP plus the ISO 4217 code equals XRP. A unique code is assigned to each token to ensure its authenticity. In this particular instance, XRP was given the code 4217. If you search the Federal Reserve ISA 4217 currency, you will learn that according to the norm ISF 4217, all international currencies are given a 3-letter code. Now, this is actually extremely crazy, because what this proves to us and guarantees is that XRP is an international currency that is going to be intertwined between every single currency that you see on the list, whether you are the euro, whether you are the British sterling pound, United States dollar, or the yen. All of the currencies that are part of the ISO 4217 standard are going to be using the ISO 4217 currency, which is going to be XRP, which we just showed you guys. This was validated on a number of different use cases, but the most essential thing is that we need to receive it from an authoritative source. I made the decision to check out the Federal Reserve website, and the independent researcher was kind enough to send me a screenshot of the page as well. This is going to blow your head because it verifies everything and literally binds everything in that box together. Prepare to have your mind blown. XRP is the money of the entire world. The following is a summary of the most important information that can be found on the official website of the Federal Reserve. It highlights all the currencies, whether it be the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Canadian dollar, or the Japanese yen. Whatever it may be, is going to be using the ISO 4217 3-letter currency code, which, if we look at it, has 3 letters and is the ISO 4217 coin XRP. This highlights all the currencies that are being used. Once more, this is very obvious. It is in plain view right in front of you. Once more, I verified the legitimacy of the official website of the government of the Federal Reserve by a strange twist of fate was most recently modified on October 24th, 2023. Take a gander at this. The authorization for financial institutions and banks to utilize XRP for payment purposes was officially granted to Ripple Labs the day before the case against Ripple was thrown out by the United States of America, and Ripple was given the green light by the United States Congress. Everyone should know that this is not a coincidence. The evidence is immediately in front of our eyes. When you consider that the XRP ledger is being used to facilitate the transfer of tons and quadrillions of dollars every single day, what is $10,000 compared to that? Well, it shouldn't come as a surprise when people start to think that a price of $10,000 per XRP is inevitable. In point of fact, $10,000 would be considered extremely reasonable at that level. Now, of course, when we even look at the big picture, we can see that they have agreements with other companies that produce their product. However, the most crucial thing is that even actual exchanges are beginning to acquire XRP. One of these organizations is Uphold, which has made it quite clear that it possesses more than 1 billion XRP. In point of fact, Uphold has made it quite plain that not only do they own more than 1 billion XRP, but they also own more than $1.28 billion worth of XRP. This is a 740% increase over any other cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, XLM, and Shiba Inu. But what accounts for that? because they are under the impression that XRP is required by the banks and that XRP must have an absurdly high value such as $10,000 in order for it to be used at the scale that it is about to be used at. These people are hesitant to invest. When I see the exchanges that are some of the best in line, for example, Uphold truly gives you some of the cheapest fees, my mind is blown. It blows my mind when I see the exchanges that are some of the best in line. If you utilize the link provided in the description, it will not charge you any fees at all. The Securities and Exchange Commission submitted a request to Judge Torres, requesting that she certify for an interlocutory appeal to the Second Circuit her decisions that the programmatic sales and other distributions did not contain a security. Generally speaking, a district court has the authority to certify an order for interlocutory appeal in the following circumstances. The order involves a controlling matter of law. There are substantial grounds for difference of opinion, and an immediate appeal from the order may materially advance the ultimate end of the litigation. Judge Torres stated on October 3 that she would not grant the request in her conclusion. She emphasized that her summary judgment rulings were rendered after much consideration of the heavily disputed factual record and detailed expert reports, and that she considered the totality of circumstances surrounding defendants' different transactions and schemes involving the sale and distribution of XRP. She noted that her rulings were rendered after much consideration of the heavily disputed factual record and detailed expert reports. Judge Torres pointed out that the SEC does not argue that the court used the incorrect standard. In point of fact, the court used the criteria that was established by the SEC, the Howey test, and rejected the standard that was submitted by the defendants, the proposed essential ingredients test. The Securities and Exchange Commission merely contended that the court erred in its application of the Howey standard to the facts included in the record. However, that alone is not sufficient to demonstrate an issue of pure law in order to meet a portion of the requirement for an interlocutory appeal. Importantly, Judge Torres went even farther and refuted the SEC's assertion that her rulings are controlling and have precedential value for a large number of cases. This is a significant development. She accused the SEC of misconstruing her findings inasmuch as they suggested that she found that offers and sales on crypto asset trading platforms create a reasonable expectation of profits based on the efforts of others. She claimed that the SEC's interpretation was incorrect because her conclusions were based on the totality of the circumstances, including an examination of the facts, circumstances, and economic realities of the transactions. Judge Torres made it quite apparent that her decisions only applied to the Ripple case. Judge Torres made it abundantly apparent that the court's holding did not turn on the fact that Ripple's offers and sales on crypto asset trading platforms. Even though the SEC was able to save one component of its case against Ripple, which involved the institutional sales, there is no question that this matter represents a severe loss for the SEC. The agency is left with a substantially smaller case as a result of the significant part of XRP activity that involved programmatic sales, although the SEC still contends that hundreds of millions of dollars were raised in USD equivalent. In addition, the SEC was compelled to confess defeat in its allegations against the executives, where it sought responsibility founded on a heightened mental state. In other words, the SEC was obliged to concede that it had lost. After the accusations brought against Garlinghouse and Larson were dropped, Ripple's chief legal officer proclaimed that this is surrender by the SEC. It is common knowledge that the SEC will file an appeal when the case has run its course, but for the time being, it is difficult to see the outcome as anything other than a significant setback for the agency.